Everyone has a story to share. And after time, those stories can turn into legends. Dragon's Milk is no different. It's a story that became a legend. It starts with the name. The name Dragon's Milk comes from a legend that was told in medieval times. Part of the reward that came from slaying the dragon was the milk of the dragon. And in modern day, it's an English term used to describe the best liquid in somebody's house. And we just thought that this was going to be the best liquid in our house. Dragon's Milk lives in a different space than your typical beer. I think most people's first sip of Dragon's Milk is one of those aha moments. Characters of cocoa, coffee from the heavy roasted malts, the punch of bourbon right in the nose. The marriage between the oak, the bourbon, and the malt just wonderfully captured in a liquid. Dragon's Milk to me is one of those everyday rewards. It's one of those special liquids that you can have with all your friends and tell just tall tales from times before. Those stories that, become legends.
To be able to come together with the people that matter to you and to share stories with each other. That's part of the magic of Dragon's Milk.
Saludos amigos y amigas de Breaking News. Mira, estamos en un episodio más. Un capítulo más. Este que te habla Jorge Ramos, luego aquí estoy con Enrique Fernández y Arturo Ferrer. Y hoy tenemos dos invitados. En una esquina tenemos a Joey Maldonado de Craft Beer Puerto Rico. Y en la otra esquina tenemos a Dominic Bergquist de New Holland Brewery para hablar de la leche del dragón, del Dragon Milk. Y antes de comenzar, queremos decir una cosa, que durante el episodio de hoy, ¿saben que somos regalones? Ustedes saben que somos regalones. Vamos a tener 4 giveaways. 4.
No podía faltar.
4. Y el señor director, antes de empezar a hablar de la cerveza, esto, lo otro, el señor director dijo, mira, ¿por qué no, antes de empezar, por qué no empezamos con el primer giveaway? Señor director, bueno, mayor de 18 años tiene que pasar residente en Puerto Rico, tiene que pasar por la esquinita cervecera a buscar su premio. Quique, enseña el premio, los premios que son, que van a hacer, Quique.
Quique, ¿qué son?
Y mayor de 18 años, pasar por la esquinita cervecera, va a ser 2 vasos.
Nice.
Va a ser 2 vasitos de esas 2 cervecitas. Ahí lo tiene, Quique en la mano, van a ser 4.
Déjame ponerlo frente a lo blanco para que se vea.
Sí. Ahí está.
Es uno de Dragon's Milk White y uno de la Dragon's Milk Regular.
Y ahora, pues, cool. En unos segundos, el señor director va a ponchar la primera pregunta y no necesariamente la primera persona que conteste es la que gana, es la que le dé la gana al señor director, porque él es así, lo que le dé la gana al señor director. Poncha la primera pregunta y comenzamos a hablar. Síguelo, Quique. Hi, thank you, Dominic. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for giving us the honor to be here and talk about this awesome beer tonight.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me.
We should probably start opening the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Kick it up a notch.
Eso en el video salió esa contestación de esa pregunta. Estaba en el video.
Sea así.
So Dominic, while we're pouring this beauty, can you give us a background, a little bit of background story about the brewery, about New Holland Brewing? How'd you guys get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, cheers, guys.
Salud.
Cheers, man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Salud.
Ahí
The
tenemos el
aroma.
ganador. Wario Next se ganó el primer giveaway.
Ahí
Felicidades.
está.
Guarionex, yo lo conozco.
Antonio got the best liquid in
Ooh,
the house.
nice. There you go.
There it
There
is.
you go. Perfect.
Cheers. Salud.
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 Oof, wow.
It's a great beer. It's a great story. New Holland Brewing Company started in 1997 by Brett Vanderkamp and one of his buddies in college. And Brett's a really interesting guy. He went to college in Holland, moved out to Colorado. He actually is a geologist in terms of what he studied. Really fell in love with the outdoors of Colorado and certainly the burgeoning craft beer scene. I mean, at that point, New Belgium had just started, and it really was nothing like it back in Holland, Michigan. And if you're familiar with the area, which I don't know if you guys are, Holland is a pretty conservative, tight-laced, a little almost religious town as well. Back in the day, they didn't allow windows to be on bars. It was it's very just it's like something you did in the dark, and Brett really saw a lot of opportunity and wanted to change that and bring a positive light to drinking beer, bringing people together. And so that's what he did. Started with a really, really tiny brewery right in downtown Holland, grew Dragon's Milk as well. And, shortly after they opened the brewery, we're calling it, memory's a little bit fuzzy, but if you look maybe around like the year 2000, 2001, Brett kind of got the idea from some old cider makers down near the lake shore where we were from, that they were kind of aging their cider in ex-bourbon barrels. And he kind of got the idea, well, what if I craft a beer that was really made for those barrels, was able to extract flavor the way that you see with whiskey and other spirits as well. So much flavor and characteristic comes from oak, especially with bourbon. That's where you're getting, most of your flavor, all of your color. Is from that. It's like, what can we do with that? And so what really started out as just kind of this one-off crazy experiment, literally a single bourbon barrel in the back of the brew house, has completely blown up. I mean, we now do around 20,000 barrels of Dragon's Milk a year, which is insane. If you can ever make it up here to our brewery, the barrel room, the Dragon Cellar, so we call it, is so impressive, and it's only a small part of what we do, but Dragon's Milk has really turned into kind of the lifeblood of our brewery, and we're super excited and happy to share it with you guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
This beer is just, I mean, it's one of those beers that you really like. It really impresses you from the moment you open the bottle or pour it. It's got an insane aroma.
Yep.
I love everything about it. The name is awesome. You know what you're getting into just by looking at the bottle.
Mhm.
And the color and so.
Yeah.
This is my first time trying the Dragon's Milk.
Nice.
So I'm a
You're
newbie. I'm a
fan.
newbie. Really
So
nice.
this is
I love-
No, exacto. Habla. Mala mía.
What bourbon barrels do you use on this beer?
Yeah, so we get because we use so many barrels, we can't necessarily get it from one source, but we use a cooperage out of Kentucky that really gets a super high quality barrel. So we're using everything from, Jim Beam to Woodford Reserve. We'll get some Willet barrels. We'll get Weller barrels. Really runs the gamut. If it's a good quality distillery out of Kentucky, that's where our bourbon barrels are coming from.
Nice.
So this is a very American beer because this is, the liquid from that you made a very aggressive stout, and you put it in the American whiskey is bourbon. It's like a very nice marriage.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the relationship between the wood and the beer, I think, is really special. I think we see a lot of times in craft beer, and rightfully so, people will have like a great stout on its own, and they'll go, what would happen if I put it in a bourbon barrel? Whereas we really crafted this for the barrel. To be completely honest, the beer before it goes in the barrel is not very good. It's really interesting. It's not anything interesting at all. It tastes like green. It actually has a lot of like green apple taste to it.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what is going into the oak here? But it spends 3 months aging in those barrels, and it comes out a completely different beast. And it's so drinkable, in my opinion, compared to maybe a lot of like maybe heavier, thicker stouts. I mean, I think it hides its alcohol really well as well. For being 11%. I'm glad you guys enjoy it.
So
For being a beer,
dangerous beer.
for being a beer that is in the barrels for 3 months.
Only 3 months.
3 months. Doesn't overpower the beer. It's like have like a very unique. It's like a good marriage. I don't know. It's not overpowering the malt, the hops, and it's very very
very complete beer.
Yeah, very complete. Yeah.
The dragon is talking to me in my.
Dominic, are you guys using these barrels single use? I'm guessing.
No, we actually. I hope you guys are buckled in. It's a long story, but I'll try to be quick.
We're ready for it.
So we get those fresh bourbon barrels from a distillery. We'll fill them up with Dragon's Milk one time. Take the beer out, and then we'll fill them up with Dragon's Milk again. And Dragon's Milk is actually a blend of first and second use barrels. And the reason, and it's interesting, you said you thought it was very balanced and complementary, is that's very much on purpose. The first time that it goes into a fresh bourbon barrel, it's super spirit forward. You get a lot of that bourbon punch. And frankly can be a little bit overpowering for people. So we experimented, brought in that filling up the barrel one more time. And that is kind of like really the salt and pepper is what we like to say to this beer. It's going to pull out a little bit more of the oak tannin, some of the vanilla flavor as well. It's certainly much more subdued than the first time around. And blending those two together, we found to be just kind of the perfect balance. After that second use, we actually make a bourbon we're a distillery as well. We've been doing that since don't quote me on this, but I think 2005. And we finished that bourbon for a couple of months in Dragon's Milk barrels. And so what you're getting is kind of some really interesting beer stout characteristics to it, where it's really chocolatey. It's a much softer bourbon than maybe what comes straight out of American white oak. And then at that point, we actually own our own wood shop on our brewery campus. And if you've seen our tap handles, those are actually all made out of spent Dragon's Milk barrels. And we make furniture and lighting fixtures and all sorts of crazy stuff out of there. Those guys are wild, but we try to give those barrels as much life as we can.
Yeah, repurposing, giving more life to the barrels. Yeah,
that's really cool that you guys use the barrels first to make the beer awesome, and then you're actually making the whiskey awesome back again with the beer. That's cool. I didn't know you guys were distilling. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something we're it's kind of like the worst kept secret, I think, at the brewery, is that we're a distillery. And so but we're making a lot of cool stuff. We certainly do bourbon, but we also do some really great gins that have won best gin in the country a handful of years ago, our Knickerbocker. And we did release a bottled and bond bourbon underneath the Dragon's Milk name last fall, and that'll be seeing much wider distribution coming up in October. So keep your eye out for that. That's going to be really fun.
Well, maybe we can see that in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. No reason why not. We'll get you a package for sure.
One news I was going to say right now is maybe we haven't seen the tap handles yet, but that's coming on next shipments, guys. So Kike and everyone over here start making some space for the text.
No, they sound like
Both.
I want one from my home. For my calculator,
So
I will make a clone of the
That should be a good clone competition then.
Absolutely.
You were talking about a few of the notes that you get with the double barrel use, the blending of the two rounds, the more intense beer and then the smoother beer. You said vanilla. I'm getting a lot of vanilla. I'm getting even a little bit of coconut, maybe.
Yep.
Totally.
From the
Totally.
wood.
Really I perceive like a cinnamon, a hint of cinnamon too.
Yeah.
Vanilla, of course, from the oak.
If anybody's having the beer and watching the episode, los que estén bebiéndosela, tiren ahí sus comments de los sabores que les da.
Exacto. So, Dominic, this is your best seller beer, right?
Also, like prunes. I feel like
it is. It is. Yep. It's our best selling beer. It's actually the best selling American made stout sold in America. So we're really proud of where that's gone to be a 4-pack in bottles at 11%, and and it's certainly a luxurious experience. It's something that people indulge in to get, and they've really connected with it, and we're just so excited to keep kind of growing the Dragon's Milk family as well.
So how many barrels? I know that you already told, but how many barrels do you make from this one?
20,000.
Wow.
20,000. Yeah.
Crazy. It's
it's wild. It's wild.
Wow.
It's like the warehouse from Indiana Jones. That big. It's like a lot.
You don't want to have an accident with a forklift in there.
No, oh my gosh, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely
man.
not.
One of the first things that I noticed when I first heard about New Holland Brewing and tasted this beer is like you guys literally, your flagship beer is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, and you're like, what the, and it's like available and I don't know how many states you guys are in, but it's gotta be a good a decent distribution.
Yeah, we're in don't quote me on this or put it on the internet, but I think we're in like 43 states right now.
Wow.
And we do some exporting. Obviously, we're in Puerto Rico. We do a little bit out in Europe as well, and a lot. We actually a decent part of our business is actually exporting to U.S. military bases, keeping our soldiers their thirst quenched, I guess.
That's right.
I'm sure they enjoy the ABV too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's all over the world, and it is crazy. I mean, it started out, like I said, as that single barrel, and then we started doing it once. We did once a year release, then we did it twice, and it's like, well, maybe we should do it every quarter. I mean, it just kind of naturally progressed into being like, hey, there's a demand for this, and people really like this beer. Let's make the commitments, and we really have built our brewery, I mean, literally and metaphorically, around this beer.
Wow.
Most breweries will do like once a year, a couple times a year, limited release stuffs like this type of beer. And you guys are literally, it's your number one. Wow. That's kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you have to respect the beer. You have to drink it in a proper glass. Proper glass.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. So we still have 3 more sets of glassware. Antonio won the first one.
3 more giveaways.
3 more sets, both glasses, the regular imperial stout one and the white.
So Arturo, the next question.
How many Dragon's Milk do you have? Many varieties. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good question. A lot. So what we release year round, we've got 3 year round brands. So we've got the bourbon barrel aged stout, which we're drinking now. 2 years ago, we released Dragon's Milk White, which we're going to get into in a little bit, which is a bourbon barrel aged white stout, which is a whole nother episode. And then just last fall, we released Dragon's Milk Solera. And so if you're familiar with, I mean, probably the closest, lane would be rum. There's a lot of Solera rum out there, but it's this blending process that we use these massive oak barrels called foeders to age a strong ale in and blend it, and it gets older and more complex over time. And that's got kind of really limited distribution, just kind of in our home region. but we're really excited about the potential for that one. And then we do 3 or 4, depends on the year, depends on the brewer's mood, of our Dragon Smoke Reserve releases. So we'll take our flagship, the Imperial Stout, and add different ingredients, use different barrels, just kind of let their creativity run wild. And so the one that we just released a couple of weeks ago is a bourbon barrel aged stout with peanut butter and cocoa nibs. It's so good. It's so good. They really like almost broke the brewery. They use so much peanut butter.
Wow.
The alcohol content actually went down a percentage point because there's so much peanut butter in it, which is wild. And we just used real peanut butter. So a lot of times, for various reasons, folks will use extracts or natural flavorings, but we just wanted to see what would happen, and we used just a ton of Reese's, like literally Reese's peanut butter, and it's so good. And we've done that. We've been doing that for a handful of years now, but we've done everything from like a s'mores variant. We've done a rum barrel aged with chocolate and coconut, and just all sorts of crazy stuff. But those come out like 3 times a year, pretty limited.
Joey, necesitamos cerveza en Puerto Rico.
I'm hearing some stuff here.
That chocolate and coconut, that sounds very delicious.
There's some
that's one of my favorites.
You guys are literally delving straight into the pastry stout world.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
This one's a very traditional bourbon barrel beer, but it's cool that you guys are also trying out all these the unique combinations that I think people nowadays they love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a question from Carlos Ortiz, our friend. So Joey, te toca a ti contestarla.
That's not my decision. It sometimes depends on the brewery. So Dominic, does the limited beers, are they only stateside, or can people from Puerto Rico like us import it and sell it to our customers over here?
We have imported or exported them in super small quantities. Obviously, okay. I mean it's but yeah, absolutely, that's certainly a possibility.
One layer at least. We can use at least one layer.
And only for La Esquinita.
Depends on how limited, on what limited means.
Right, exactly.
It's at least a couple of cases.
We can get at least a couple of cases. The customers here love there's a big craft beer movement here on the island. It's only increasing and stuff like that. People love it, and it's new things, So if we can get our hands on that, we'll take whatever you can give us. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
awesome.
Do you guys have any beers that aren't barrel aged? Which usually ask a brewery, what are your barrel aged beers?
Right.
Case, I'm gonna ask the opposite, because everything you've mentioned so far, I believe, is all barrel stuff.
Barrel aged.
Do you guys do any standard beers?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've kind of broken up our portfolio into things that have a dragon on it and things that do not. And so the stuff with the dragon on it is all barrel aged or sees some sort of wood aging. And then everything that kind of falls under the New Holland core brands, or what we call it, it just totally runs the gamut of pretty much any style you can think of. I mean, we've got hazy IPAs, we've got lagers, we have a pretty robust sour program as well. It's honestly sticking with the wood age theme there. But yeah, we do all sorts of stuff. I mean, the big beer that we're kind of really excited about this year is called Hazy River, and it's a New England style IPA that is just super hazy, super juicy. It's crushable. Comes in a 6-pack. It's a great beer for just being out on the river and enjoying a summer day for sure.
And those beers are coming to Puerto Rico only the Dragon's Milk. It's the only one.
We can bring if New Holland allows it. We can bring them. Are they from New Holland?
The hazy one. The hazy one. Hazy's
are from
Don't fear the hazy.
New Holland. Yeah, exactly. Because I remember when I went over there for the first time, you had like a orange label, which was an IPA, a very good IPA. I don't know if that's the one, you know. So
Yeah, Tangerine Space Machine. That's
yeah,
another one.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
a really good one for us too. Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's we've kind of made a conscious decision for the most part. There's always exceptions, but the brands that have the most recognition for our brewery are Dragon's Milk. And so that's what the ones that we kind of feel the best about sending out into the world, where maybe we don't have advertising in Puerto Rico or around the world at this point, but they can kind of live on their own. And then we kind of build all the rest of the brands behind it. But absolutely, we send those brands all around the world. I think the biggest roadblock sometimes is freshness. We really want to make sure our IPAs are drank, within a certain amount of time. And Dragon's Milk, another great benefit of that is that it has at least a year shelf life. We recommend drinking it within the year, but because it's barrel aged, because it's such a higher ABV, it can really go well beyond that, and kind of takes on different flavor notes and aging as it goes.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So before we continue, so we are going to our second giveaway of the evening. Vamos al segundo giveaway de la tarde noche de hoy. Ya saben, mayor de 18 años, tiene que pasar por la esquinita a buscar su premio, y el premio son 2 vasos que el modelo Quique Fernández los va a modelar nuevamente. Son los 2 vasos. Ya saben, el próximo... La próxima pregunta es la siguiente. Mira, señor director, y es el que escoja el señor director. Anda.
Está en la botella, bien grande.
That's an easy one. We don't have any answers yet. I'm surprised.
Más fácil que la escuela en Puerto Rico.
Más fácil que yo.
Que te dan la respuesta ahí en la carota.
Anda.
Ya contestaron 2 o 3 por ahí. Vamos a ver quién es el segundo ganador o la segunda ganadora en la tarde noche de hoy. ¡Felicidades!
There we go.
Carlos, felicidades, Carlos.
Carlos es uno de los vendedores del equipo de Ballester, hermano.
Pero si trabaja allí, bro, vamos a ver. ¿Se lo damos como quiera o qué tú crees? Yo, tú eres el que manda.
Ese hombre ha hecho un trabajo brutal.
Está viendo el episodio, eso se merece un vasito.
Mira, pues, Carlos.
Y se las bebe como es.
Carlos, ya sabes, pasa por la esquinita, pregunta por el Quique y él te da tu premio. Felicidades y sigue bebiendo buena cerveza.
Eso es así.
Super.
Yeah.
Mira,
So
por ahí.
Dominic, I'm glad you said you guys have a bunch of different beers. So if somebody were to visit the tap room over in Michigan, which I'm assuming is awesome, I have it on the list. You guys have all of them like together, or is there a separate area for drinking the Dragon's beers or you just have like one big tap room?
No, we've actually got 2 tap rooms right now. So they're about 45 minutes apart. One is in Holland where we started, and then one is in Grand Rapids, which is a kind of the second, I think, biggest city in the state. Just like I said, about 45 minutes away. But you can grab everything there. So you can try our beers from our lager to our imperial stouts. We've also got all of our spirits there as well, so you can get a cocktail.
Nice.
Something we really pride ourselves at New Holland is having something for everybody, and that's kind of, we built our brewery around that kind of theme, is making sure that whoever comes into our doors feels welcome and has something that they can enjoy there.
Nice.
So everyone that doesn't like the beers, it's like we got you. We got spirits. We got a cocktail for you, and you can bring anyone to them.
Something for everybody.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So now we have a special guest in video that is going to make a question to Dominic. Ahora tenemos una pregunta de un amigo de nosotros. Como yo siempre digo, si la persona bebe cerveza como nosotros y la respeta tanto como nosotros, ya pasa de ser amigos, ya somos hermanos en la cerveza. Somos hermanos. Nuestro hermano Jaime, directamente del país de la pura vida.
So
Pura vida, mae.
just so Dominic knows, Jaime Zuluaga is the owner and brewer at Costa Rica Beer Factory. We had
awesome.
him on the show last week, and we found out he's a big fan of Dragon's Milk. And when he found out we were gonna do the show with you guys, he asked if he could ask you a question. So we're gonna roll the video from Jaime.
Yeah, let's do it.
Estos días estuve hablando con los cracks de Breaking News y hablamos, fue una charla súper cool, súper chiva. Inclusive hicimos como récord de duración en esta charla. Y bueno, me contaron que esta semana iba a estar Dominic de Dragon's Milk, la cual es una de mis cervezas favoritas. Me encantan las stouts y más si son añejadas en barrica. Entonces, pues no podía perder la oportunidad para hacerle una pregunta. Y bueno, desde nuestra humilde fábrica, desde Costa Rica Beer Factory, te pregunto, Dominic, para vos, ¿qué es más importante? ¿La publicidad o la calidad? ¿Qué crees que va a preferirle el consumidor? ¿Una buena cerveza o mucha publicidad? Entonces ahí te la dejo. Nos vemos, muchachos. Saludos y pura vida, pura birra.
Pura vida. Gracias, Jaime. Thank you, Jaime. Thank you. It was in Spanish, but we have the translation.
There's the gist of it, Dominic. There's the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's quality. It's always quality. I mean, that's what we've built. That's what the reason why we still exist. I mean, it's hard to keep a business open for 2 years, let alone 20. So that's something that we absolutely lay, all of our pride out for is quality of beer. So we have been very, very lucky that we have never had to really truly recall beer, but we have and the reason why is because we have a really rigorous quality program. We've got 5 or 6 people that test beers in our in-house lab. We have taste panel every week, and people make really hard decisions. There's absolutely been times where beer that we could probably sell doesn't pass our standards, and it just gets it gets dumped or distilled down into beer schnapps or something like that. It's something that we realize that at the end of the day we have to hang our hat on producing the best possible beer, especially if we're sending it around the world. So quality all day.
Quality is the best advertising.
Yep,
100%. If you got quality, I think you don't need advertising because people is gonna appreciate the product and doesn't really need advertising. It's like this is a good product, and I wanna take and taste that product. I think it's the more.
That's the best publicity.
Yeah, it's the best publicity. Yeah, It's the best advertising.
You guys are a great example of that. I think I always list my top example for that topic is always Russian River Brewing. You look at their labels and all that stuff. It's like super simple. The guy does it in his computer, and like they would be nowhere near where they are today if the beers weren't freaking amazing. So
100%,
definitely. And kudos to you guys. You opened in 1997, and I mean here we are drinking.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing it's been I've never had a Dragon's Milk that's tasted different, and for a barrel-aged beer, it's pretty hard to pull off like consistently.
No doubt.
So whoever's doing your blending and all that stuff is probably a hero without a cape.
Yeah, I don't know what they do on the weekends, but they're definitely a hero for sure. So
yeah,
we can get into the. Are you guys ready for the white one, or what do we?
Yeah.
You open the white one. I will open.
I gonna open mine. I have mine in the fridge.
Jorge doesn't have the.
I don't have the white one, so.
However, have you tried it before?
No, I have to try it.
So, have you had a white stout?
We gotta get a can.
Yeah, I already tried different white stouts, so it should be similar to that, but in bourbon barrels. Did you talk about a little bit of the white, Dominic?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this was born out of honestly out of our brew pubs. Our innovation brewer John, who kind of manages all of our new recipe development, was experimenting with a white stout. Had kind of read some stuff on the internet and was playing around, and we just thought it was absolutely delicious. And so I guess maybe I'll start with what a white stout is. It is made up. It's totally just like craft beer fun. Like it's not a real style by any means, but it's kind of what craft ingenuity was born about. It's about having fun with beer. And so we basically take a golden ale and we add chocolate, coffee, and vanilla to that. And so those flavors, especially after you've had the original stout, are what we consider to be kind of classic stout flavor notes. And so if you drink it and you close your eyes, it's like, am I drinking a darker beer than this actually is? It's like no, this is gold, and it's also 6%. And so it's our first beer that we've ever put into cans underneath the Dragon's Milk name. It's a lot more. It's more sessionable. It's meant to be kind of taken to more places than you would with the traditional Dragon's Milk, but we're still adhering to that, Dragon's Milk ethos by the barrel aging. So we barrel aged this for about a month. We feel like we get just enough of those flavor notes without giving it too much color.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw Joey. You can show the color on the Joey la más clara que se ve.
The light is a bit different. But it's literally the golden beer.
Yep.
So Dominic, you ask, you tell the question that I gonna ask you. This is the only one from the Dragon's Milk line that is produced in cans, right?
I'm just gonna look at you and wink and say for now.
For now.
So that's kind of all I can say for right now. But keep your eyes peeled to our Instagram.
Tell the gossip. The gossip.
Tíralo, Comay, tíralo en medio.
Vete a la sopa, claro.
We've actually gotten very lucky, and I'm sure you guys have seen it just within the craft industry. We know that there's a can shortage. With everyone kind of taking all of their, bar drinking into their own homes and kind of converting kegs to cans. And so we've really been very blessed to be able to keep that beer in cans. But with Dragon's Milk being in bottles, we were very, very lucky to be able to continue production pretty much uninterrupted through COVID.
Nice. So now we are going to our third giveaway of the evening. So, ya saben, mayor de 18 años, pase por la esquinita, se va a ganar 2 vasos, el set de vasos, que ahorita lo enseñamos. Si Kike quiere lo vuelve y lo enseña, si no, pues no, que no lo enseñe, como él desee.
Enséñalo porque está con la white.
Ya lo tienes ahí.
Está con la white. Proper glass for the proper beer.
Es el original.
Proper glass.
Ese es el de la bourbon,
Esa era la
de la stout.
Y estos vasos son, mira, esto es calidad. Esto es Rasta, hecho en Polonia.
The motherload.
Eso no es Chinatown allí. No.
It's quality glassware.
It's quality. That's not Chinatown, No. That's quality. Billete.
Go for the question.
Mayor de 18 años, pasar por la esquinita a buscar el premio y ahora vamos con la pregunta. Ya saben, no necesariamente la primera persona que la conteste es la que gana, es la que le dé la gana al señor director. Pónchala, señor director, la que tú quieras, que no me acuerdo cuál es.
Eso es fácil.
La musiquita, Jeopardy, vamos.
Dominic, what's the process? Is the barrel aging the same for this one, or is it different than the
one month?
Stout?
1 month.
Yep, yeah, it's 1 month versus 3 months. So we're still, and we're actually just using freshly dumped bourbon barrels because it's a smaller or a lesser amount of time. So obviously, in the other Dragon's Milk that we were talking about, that's a blend. This is just whiskey, then Dragon's Milk White.
Awesome, and it's still the same pool of barrels.
Yep.
Like
absolutely.
you mentioned, you have a bunch of different types of bourbon there.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same situation. We probably do maybe well, probably about 40% of the volume of regular Dragon's Milk to Dragon's Milk White. And so we're still getting, like I said, all the big Kentucky distilleries we're pulling from on a regular basis.
So it's a very distinct beer because it's like you're expecting something hoppy, you're expecting something like I don't know. It's kind of hazy too. It's
Yep.
like you're expecting like a hazy IPA, but then it gives you the right hook. It's like
what the hell?
no.
What is this?
What is this,
absolutely.
man? Yeah, it's like
You can
chocolate.
put this in a blind tasting with a bunch of different like stouts or brown ales, and nobody's gonna know the difference until they look at the glass.
Yep. Oh, it's such a trip. It's such a trip. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like
crazy.
you're expecting something and then bang, this is another thing.
Totally different.
Yeah,
totally
it's like
different.
Yeah.
White chocolate.
We have the winner here for the
vanilla.
Juan Paquito, the winner for the third. Was that the third? Yeah, the third.
Sí.
Giveaway.
Yeah.
In what year was established in Holland?
1997.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
He won.
He's got
You
it.
got it.
Juan
You got it.
Paquito.
Got it. Juan Paquito, felicidades.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
I remember when I tried it the first time, and somebody at the brewery told me, "Hey, try this." It was, is this a hazy IPA, something like that? It's like, let's try it. When I smell it, what is this? Like, that's a stout. What?
Yeah.
Kudos, man. This is a really good beer, man.
It's
Thank you.
literally
Thank you very
chocolate, vanilla.
Yeah.
It's very. I've had one or two other pale stouts. Like you were saying, it's basically an invented. It's not a style of beer,
Right. Totally.
Yeah, no, it's like
but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys like it.
And I think
6%.
people here have really liked. Like since we started getting the Dragon's Milk White, I've seen a lot of people that literally like buy 6-packs of it. So that it's not just that like they buy it to go for their homes too. So it's
Awesome.
definitely
That's
enjoying
super cool.
Well, Dominic, if you can choose one of the Dragon's Milk, which one do you choose? Or your
man.
favorite one?
Man, it's like
Your
I
favorite
think,
one.
what is your favorite son?
Exactly. But every parent says they can't pick, but I mean, I like all day. The original for me, all day. I love that beer so much.
Yeah.
It's constantly same product. Also, it never misses. So.
And this beer, you
For me-
really don't feel the alcohol in it.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah,
drink like-
until after your second one, and
Yeah.
then you feel it.
Yeah.
Proper
We have in
glass.
our portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Arturo. In
No,
our
no,
portfolio,
no.
we have excellent stouts, but I can say it like if this is like the top of the top, So it's constantly the same thing, 11 per ABV. So it's incredible. It's a great beer. It's
thing is,
one of my favorite stouts.
Very easy drinking.
Really well balanced and dry, so you don't have that dulce, that residual
sweetness.
sugar, so
Sweetness.
really dry.
Sweetness.
So.
Goodness. Yeah.
And for the price, it's a I don't know. It's like you got a lot for
bargain.
For the beer. A bargain for the price. It's like
Perfect.
It's like you want a good beer, 11% imperial stout that you have barrel aged in whiskeys. Very impressive beer for the price, man. Come on.
Quality.
Yeah. You
Quality.
get it every day.
It's
Hey,
one of the
Dominic,
beers
these
that-
guys- Sorry.
Go for it, Joey.
No. These guys, whatever they say, they might run bars and stuff like that, but all these guys are home brewers and stuff like that, so they know about beers. So when they say something about the beer, it's the truth, So if we can do whatever, how do you say, guys? El mock, ¿verdad? La imitación, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Cómo
Ah,
le
sí,
dicen?
no.
El clone.
El clone,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
This is
These
a
guys,
this one is
Yeah.
it's gonna be harder.
Yes.
This is
I know,
It's a tricky
the
one.
clone beer of this beer will just keep you like doing the right stuff, So if we can do
Absolutely.
something in the future, these cars are the ones, So
No, that's super cool. No, our honestly, like the way that our brewery started is on such a home brewing background. Like Brett, our owner, literally started home brewing in college. I'm sure well before he was 21, which is so. I mean, it's something that we've supported for years, and absolutely, it'd be super fun to try and walk you guys through a clone recipe. That'd be really cool.
That'd be
Me
interesting.
gusta. I like it.
hay que tirar.
We can
It can
put
be,
something together with the homebrew club, the local
Yeah.
homebrew
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do a virtual brew day.
And what I was gonna say is, this beer is such a really good introduction to people that usually are like, no, I don't drink dark beers.
Yeah.
This has it hits all the notes that any amazing barrel aged beer would hit, but it's so smooth, it's so easy drinking. Like you get all the flavors from the barrel, the base beer, but it's just like I think it's the smoothest 11% beer I've ever had. Like you can't even feel it's super creamy. It's got a great
Totally.
mouthfeel. It's
I totally agree. We get a lot of times people will, when we're talking to our sales team or new bars or stores, people come in and say, it's like, well, I don't like beer. It's like okay, well, in that case, they're probably thinking about like a light lager.
Yeah.
They're thinking about those classic, just easy drinking light beers, and it's certainly not for everybody. So I'm not going to give them the lightest beer that we have, but we'll ask them, do you like chocolate? Do you like coffee? Do you like red wine? Yep, absolutely. And it's like, well, yeah, we'll try Dragon's Milk, and people's minds are honestly usually blown. I mean, it's unlike anything out there. And we're really happy with the job our brewers do and everything that's gone on over the last 25 years to keep making this beer.
What I usually say is whoever tells me they don't like beer, I answer, you haven't tasted enough beer.
That's the perfect
Beer
answer
for everybody.
Absolutely. You're just not trying hard enough.
I mean, these two are a great example. They're similar yet, but completely different at the same time, and they're both on the sweet side. But it's nuts all the variability you can get.
Also, for somebody that likes hard liquor like whiskey, will love this beer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think Arturo was a part of an event with a local whiskey club. I think they tried Dragon's Milk, and from what he told us, they were like, "What the hell? What's going on?" So,
Whiskey Society of Puerto Rico.
Whiskey Society, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Ariel.
So now,
último giveaway.
Before we finish, our last giveaway, el último giveaway de la tarde-noche, antes de irnos. Ya saben, mayor de 18 años, vuelvo y repito, el cuarto, se va a ganar otra vez modelo, los vasos, enséñalo. Ya va a ganar el set de vasos, pasar por la esquinita, allí en Bayamón, preguntan por Quique, se lo que enséñalo otra vez, ahí está, uno y el otro.
Los dos.
Ya se bebió uno, está con la otra.
Eso es lo que se va a ganar la persona que, ya saben, no necesariamente la primera persona que conteste la que se lo gana.
Yeah.
Ya saben,
if you win the glasses, you have to go and purchase the white
and the
Dragon's Milk. So you can drink it in your home with the proper glass, man.
Definitely. Take a picture.
Yeah.
Y la prueba, y deja que el dragón te susurra al oído.
Take a picture and tag New Holland, tag Breaking News.
Yeah, please. So, señor director, ya saben, no necesariamente poncha la pregunta y es el que le escoja, acuérdense.
No todas las contestaciones llegan a la misma vez, so tratamos de hacer lo más posible de...
Esa la contestamos al principio. Hablamos de eso al principio. Vamos a ver. So, before we finish, so I know that we already talked about that, but you can future beers from New Holland to Puerto Rico market, or future beer from New Holland for the home market. So you can sell it, Dominic.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got like I said, we actually released 2 peanut butter beers. So we make another an oatmeal stout called the Poet, and we've been doing that I think almost since the brewery opened. And so this year we kind of leveled it up a little bit. We almost doubled the ABV, and then added almost double the amount of peanut butter that we did to Dragon's Milk. And so we had Peanut Butter Poet come out in February along with our Peanut Butter Dragon's Milk. We've got just a ton of new stuff coming out in the next year. We've got some variety packs coming out for Solera for the Dragon's Milk world. We've got some new Dragon's Milk reserves coming out as well. I can't divulge those quite yet, but they are coming. They are coming.
Come on,
Step by step.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody's going to know. It's not close. This is a Zoom meeting.
Between
Zoom
us.
meeting.
It's just between us.
Yeah. I have like 40,000. I have like 40,000.
Yeah, right.
The podcast is called Breaking News, so there's
That's right.
No pressure.
We'll make sure we'll get back on the podcast again. We'll make sure we announce the next beer for sure.
That's a due date.
Yeah, Dominic, all the Dragon's Milk family comes in 4-packs or are coming in 6-packs?
Everything's in a 4-pack other than Dragon's Milk White.
Okay.
The white stout is in a 6-pack of cans.
Yeah. And coming in kegs soon.
Yes.
I heard something about that. I'm excited to try it.
I already said it. So whatever.
The kegs on the tap handle.
The tap handle. You have to use that tap handle. The tap handle.
Yeah.
¿Quién ganó?
Ibeliz, felicidades, Ibeliz.
3 meses. Muy bien. De show. Felicidades, Ibeliz.
Yes.
Pasa por la esquinita, pasa por allí.
We have a couple questions. We have a request and a question. Here's the question first.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have used all sorts of barrels. Last year, our Dragon's Milk Reserve series was in rum barrels. We used Scotch barrels. We used bourbon barrels. We've used a pretty wide variety of wine barrels. We've done port barrels as well, and then like I said with Solera, we use those giant oak barrels that are called fooders. Those are like 300-gallon barrels, which are just they're massive. You can see them on our website, on our Instagram. It's pretty wild, but we're always experimenting, just trying to find kind of the next great flavor.
Nice.
We have a comment from Jaime here.
It's the request I was talking about.
Oh, perfect.
He wants in Costa Rica.
Jaime is the one who recorded the question, the video question. So
that's awesome.
Cheers to Jaime.
It's actually interesting, and I wish I had more of the full story, but our pub brewer, Danielle, was actually the head brewer at a brewery in Costa Rica.
Wow.
Up 2 years ago, and so she came back home to Michigan, and but we'd love to get Dragon's Milk out there for sure.
Wow, nice.
Who knows? Maybe Jaime
So
knows.
Jaime coming soon. Oh, so maybe Jaime can make a collaboration with Holland in Costa Rica.
Oh man, absolutely.
Also, we need a collaboration between New Holland and a brewery in Puerto Rico.
Well, I was told for coming on this podcast that I get 2 plane tickets to Puerto Rico afterwards. Is that true?
The giveaway. JetBlue
That's a giveaway.
Is that the last one?
Is that the first giveaway?
JetBlue doesn't accept the giveaway. JetBlue, no.
We have to
next time.
Hey, Dominic, we'll get your bosses to let you come here soon.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man,
Okay.
please do.
We'll send some emails over there.
That's what I'm talking
Bring
about.
your swimsuits. Bring
These
everything.
guys
Because,
make that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Make it
here it's
happen.
like 80. It's like 80 all the
80
years.
degrees
Yeah,
all
80
the
degrees. 80 degrees all the year. It's like it's very
Oh,
nice
man.
weather. Yeah.
How is over there? Like minus 5 degrees?
Yeah, it's like 10 degrees, and we just got like 15 inches of snow. It's horrible.
Oh,
It's horrible. It's great Dragon's Milk.
Snowboarding with a
Yeah,
it's
before drinking
snowboarding with a
Dragon's
Dragon's Milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the feels like must be painful.
Oh yeah,
With 10 degrees outside.
it's not great. I'll just leave it at that.
Nah, Jaime made a comment also. Again, another comment.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Hey,
That'd
there
be
you
super fun.
go.
So,
Jaime, se te dio, Jaime.
vamos a ver. But before we go, Jaime, Dominic, where we can find more information about New Holland, the Facebook, the Instagram, the email, whatever you want to say, the info.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got kind of 2 websites, 2 social medias. Websites are newhollandbrew.com and dragonsmilk.com. And then our Facebook, you can find us New Holland Brewing or Dragon's Milk, same thing on Instagram. If you can't possibly see anything other than dragons, then go to Dragon's Milk. Otherwise, we got everything else on New Holland. So that's where you can find everything anytime.
Nice. So Joey, ¿dónde lo pueden conseguir? Cuéntamelo.
Nosotros, todos nuestros productos los consiguen en la Notega, 787-250-7780. Tenemos el website y también todas sus barras favoritas y preferidas. Y también en la esquinita ahí con los famosos Enrique y allí.
Quique, cuéntame, ¿dónde te pueden conseguir?
Enrique Fernández, Facebook, Instagram, Henry FDEZ y como dijo yo, en la esquinita para todas sus necesidades cervecísticas, incluyendo estas beers espectaculares. Y asumo que mañana o en la semana veo a los ganadores de hoy.
Mañana abren, ¿verdad? Mañana abren.
Sí, mañana abren. Miércoles a sábado.
Miércoles a sábado.
A las 2 p.m.
Arturo, cuéntamelo, ¿dónde te pueden conseguir?
Arturo en Facebook, Arturo Ferrer, y en Instagram Minimalist, con una X ahí.
Con X. Pues a mí me pueden conseguir en Facebook bajo Jorge Ramos Lugo, en Instagram bajo Ramones Brew. Y vamos para atrás otra vez, señor director.
Siempre se le olvida
Vamos para atrás.
El corillo.
Y a nosotros 5 nos consiguen en Breaking News, Beer and Coffee. Será hasta la próxima. Salud. Y gracias, Dominic. Gracias,
Thank you,
Joey.
Dominic.
Thank you.
Don't leave.
for having us on.
We're taking a screenshot after the end credits, so stick around.
All right.
Stick around.
We'll be here.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
Vemos, gente. Buenas noches.